Hi, it's Chrissy, and today I want to talk about my Thanksgiving trip to urgent care. So, this past week, I did something to my knee. I have no idea what, or when, or how, or what. On Wednesday, it started to feel a little bit off, but it's kind of one of those, I tweaked my knee and it'll feel better tomorrow. But when Thursday came around, it felt worse. And then when Friday came around, it felt even worse. And next week, I'm going away to Disney World, a great place to rest and relax your knee, or not. So I decided that I was going to go to urgent care. I thought about going to the emergency room because if I needed any tests, they could take care of all of that at one time. But I didn't want to spend hours in the ER. I knew the pain was excruciating. I could walk. I was limping a little bit, but I could walk. I could get around. And so I decided, I'll just go to urgent care. If nothing else, they'll give me a gauge of how much I should worry about my knee hurting. So I went, and if you're on Long Island, it was the Pro Health in Jericho, and they were amazing there. So I went, I saw the doctor. He examined my knee. He did an x-ray. And he found one little thing on the x-ray that he didn't think was related to my problem with my knee. He had radiologists double check it, and he sent me on my way. He bandaged my knee, told me that on Monday he would follow up with the insurance company to get an MRI done, gave me the name of a doctor, orthopedist I could see, and sent me on my way. He also told me to rest, ice it, that kind of stuff. So elevate. So I left, and as I was laying on my couch resting later, I got a call from him, and the radiologist had looked at the x-ray and also saw this little a little bit of fluid. So he said that I don't remember. So he just wanted to check in with me, and he was going to have his secretary push through the MRI. So a little while later, I get a call, and my MRI is already approved, and I was going to get a call from the radiology people to schedule it for that day. And like 2 minutes later that day, I had the radiology company called. I scheduled the MRI for about an hour later. I went in, got it, and got my results before I left. So I knew then that there was some mild damage in the knee, and now I feel a little bit better. I had also made an appointment with the orthopedist for Tuesday, which is before I go away. So I say all this because I originally didn't want to go to urgent care because I didn't think that they would be able to get me the test that I would probably end up needing. But I decided that going there would give me enough peace of mind for the weekend. And I walked out with that peace of mind for the weekend, but I also walked out with the test that I didn't think that they would get done for me, and having a much more confidence in what's wrong and what's the likely course of action, all in one day. And that was absolutely not what I expected from urgent care. That's what I would expect from the ER. And it just reminds me how, oftentimes we have certain expectations for things or people or places, and how important it is when they exceed them to recognize them. And that's why I mentioned the Pro Health in Jericho on Long Island, because that was service. He went above and beyond for me. And I'm not his regular patient. I have been to that urgent care before, and they've always been good there, which is why I go back, even though it's not the closest one to my house. But that's, the value in going there over another urgent care. I'd rather drive an extra 5-10 minutes and go there and know that I'm going to be well cared for. So remember that when you're working with people, that people don't just want the service that you offer. They want the customized service that you can give them, and it's your choice to give it to them. And then it's their choice whether they where they come back to when they need that service again. So provide more and people will come back. Thanks.